No, I don't know why.
Sometimes it just don't come out. Pilate learned one thing from his interrogation of Jesus. He's not guilty of any crime. You know, he could have released him. He went out to the Jews and declared, I find no fault in him, but he lacked the courage to release him. Upon hearing Pilate's verdict, the crowd, controlled by the chief priests and rulers of the people, cried out more fiercely against Jesus. It was then that Pilate learned that Jesus was from Galilee. He said, oh boy, I'm going to get out of this. Thinking he could now avoid the case, Pilate sent him to Herod. For something that Herod was in the area. And so, well, he's from Galilee. I'm going to send him to Herod and let him handle it. I'll wash my hands of it. So he had come to Jerusalem for the Passover. Now Herod and his soldiers mocked him, placing a royal robe of him, and sent him back to Pilate. You know, he sent him to Herod and said, "Oh boy, I'm going to have him here. I'm going to have him perform a miracle or perform some tricks and stuff." He was really excited about seeing it. Well, Jesus refused to do it. Well, he sent him back. Disappointed, I'm sure. He sent him back and said, so Herod wanted, like I said, to perform all kinds of tricks. And so, but not Jesus refusing to perform any miracles. He sent him back to Pilate. So in verse 39 and 40, Jesus tells of Jesus' final appearance before Pilate after he was returned from Herod. New crowds of people probably had joined at this time, no standing in front of the judgment hall. You know, I don't know how much time had been spent by the time he sent him to Herod, and Herod sent him back to Caiaphas, but they said probably some more crowds had joined, or some of them had left, and we really don't know. But some of his friends must have been there because Pilate was reminded of his custom of releasing a prisoner for the Passover. And Mark 15:6-8. Well, got another way I can get out. And he searching rather just turn them loose. But that wasn't in God's plan. He turned him over. He said, "Okay, I've got a plan now. This will work." Pilate seized upon this as an opportunity to set Jesus free. He nominated two candidates for release: Barabbas and Jesus, hoping they would release Jesus. Well, it backfired again. The last thing Pilate expected was the crowd demand the release of Barabbas. Man, he was not only said he's a robber. He wasn't only a robber, he was an insurrectionist and a murderer. In Luke 23, he was sentenced to death. Yeah, about the worst guy he could. But he was sentenced to death. And you can imagine, I think I shared this last week. They said here's a man in prison waiting for death, sentencing to death. And the day had come that he's to be put to death. And he said he hears the jailer walking down in the corridor. He's putting the keys in the lock, opening up. And he said, "You're free to go." If you imagine what he thought, he said, "Somebody else is dying in your place." You're not in Christ. We were in prison. We were sentenced to die. But yet Jesus died in our place. Can you imagine? I often wondered what happened to him, to Barabbas.
I was just sitting here thinking the same thing.
Yeah.
I wondered.
Yeah.
What happened to him after he was released? What did he turn his life around? Or did he end up getting jailed again and eventually killed?
Yeah. Well, you don't know. I hope he straightened out. Yeah, he done, but like I said, the man went right back to robbing.
I think they did more and more insurrections. It's ironic.
Probably.
Worried about the Romans coming down from that. This guy probably started another insurrection.
Yeah.
It was his undoing because he might have kind of
Yeah. Well, we really need.
They come in there and they go right around and come right back out.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this incident here just the other day in New York on the subway, that Ray choked that guy and he died. He'd been, I think it was 44 crimes against him. And it's so, like I said, I wonder whatever happened to Barabbas. We don't know. Hopefully he turned around. He may have been at the crucifixion. We don't know. We may have witnessed it and looked up and said, "He died in my place." You know, we can do a lot of assuming, but we don't know. Like I said, nowadays, you just go right back to Robin and Bird, and, but, I need to get off of that, some of the judicial systems. You know, just, yeah. And I was just, another, this guy that got robbed a convenience store here 2 months ago. And the worker of the Indians stabbed him, killed him. They filed murder charges against him. But there was so much outcry that they reversed the charges. But anyway, it's just, it's sad.
Our judicial system today, that you're not gonna take you out that same day and fix you on move and hang you or
No.
somebody here.
Yeah.
It takes years.
Yeah, I know.
to do anything else.
Yeah. Yeah. There's one state, and I have to remind myself, I'm a Christian. Put them in a firing squad or hang them. There's one state that they bring some kids. Hang 'em. Yeah. Yeah.
There's also a lot of states that people have been convicted to death,
Mhm.
but the state has changed their position
Mhm.
on the death penalty and abolished it,
Yeah.
so they don't get it.
Yeah.
They maybe they're in prison till they're 100 or 90 or whatever.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not the unpopular opinion.
Yeah.
But I mean, that Jesus died for those criminals.
Sure he did.
He did,
Yeah.
you know, and I know, and like what happened in Allen yesterday,
Mm-hmm.
and what happens pretty much every day.
Right. It seems like now.
You know, we're not gonna, these people, we make these people look good, the way we act, the way we human beings act. Now, in 2023, you know, we're not any other, we're just myself as people. We're crucifying Jesus every day.
Sure. Yeah.
We're
Well, I
never-
always remember when Hattie, she worked at the prison, and I can't even remember her name, but lady that killed her. She was drowning.
Yeah.
But Hattie said there was no doubt in her mind that she hadn't come to Christ. She was a Christian. And so, yeah. So, it's never too late. We look at the thief on the cross.
Right.
It's not too late. We don't want to say, well, I'm going to wait till my deathbed before I make a commitment, but we don't do that. But, I heard a preacher on the radio the other day. What is he? He's talking about, I don't really understand the point he was trying to make. Because, and he was trying to, for someone coming to Christ. But you'll have another chance after the tribulation if you hadn't. Well, that's not the way to look at it as far as I'm concerned. Yeah. So, it's never too late. But it's something we don't mess around with. Because we're not guaranteed our next breath.
There's an old song called Wasted Years,
Wasted years, yeah.
and I know when I was young, I thought, oh, I'm young. I have time, even though I was raised and I was saved when I was 9. And you're young, you don't have to go to church today, it'll be okay. I'm still young, but now I try to get to young people to realize how important it is that they serve God while they're young. They can do so much more than older people because they're young and vital.
Sure. Yeah, that's so true. I heard, I was telling Brother Steve about it. It's something I thought you need to think about. But it was Robert Jeffers, First Baptist, pastor, First Baptist. And he's speaking on, like Brother Jim was, I told him, I said, oh, y'all must have shared the same sermon. I said, it was about rewards. And he said, you ask someone, why do you serve Jesus? Why do you serve the Lord? Because we love him. He said, no, you serve him for rewards. And, yeah, you're looking at him. I mean, we love him, we serve him, but that's the way how we serve him is based on our rewards. And that's and like I said, some of us are just going to make one hand stubble, and that's all going to be burned.
I just don't think that when we're trying to do things for the Lord, that at that moment, though, that we're thinking, oh, I'm going to get a reward.
No, that's not what he's saying. No, we're not doing it. Yeah.
As long as it's an action or
Yeah.
Right?
I want to be the lowest person that had it versus the other option.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not.
Well, we'll go back to the thief on the cross. How many rewards did he have? Yeah.
Well, it's, like I said to Brother Steve after one of his sermons, when I get to heaven, I hope I'm the nursery worker. I really, to know that I would be there and be able to show all those aborted babies some love, it's just, oh man, that's the, woo! It
Well,
just blows my mind.
There's a song I believe my sister's mother wrote.
Yeah.
Rock the Babies. And I said, I would like to sing it, but I couldn't get through it. And, it's about the babies that have been born and we get to heaven singing Rock the Babies. I couldn't get through it. What? Yeah.
Have you ever heard of baby's prayer?
Right. Yeah.
Like Captain Coley, the baby's sleeping, or she's, the baby's inside the mom, talking to the baby before it gets aborted.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I've seen that before.
Yeah.
Very hard one.
Yeah. Yeah. But it is, it's you know, a lot you don't understand. But I know John, I knew I was thinking of something else. You reminded me of something. I was talking to my brother one time, and he said, I believe when we get to heaven, we'll get to do the things that we enjoy doing on earth, like fishing and everything. I said, well, I'll do nothing for a long time. So Pilate did not realize that the chief priests and the elders had outsmarted him by persuading the crowd to demand Barabbas. Matthew 27:20. How tragic that the crowd choose a criminal instead of the Prince of Peace. It just, like we put ourselves in that crowd. How would we react? I'm afraid to think how I might have reacted if we were in that crowd hollering, "Give us Barabbas." Yeah.
We'd have been like Peter, scared to admit that we knew him
Yeah.
because of what might happen to us
Yeah.
for saying we knew him.
Well, and the thing, I'm thinking too, like, we go to football games or something like that, and boy, the crowd is really in it, and we're just, kind of sitting there enjoying the game. Before we know it, we're up there just to cheer and carrying on. And it's probably the same way with some of the crowd. They were probably just curiosity seekers. But after they got them all in a frenzy and everything, they were just right there in the middle of it with the rest of them. Give us Barabbas. But it worked. And how ironic that the Jewish leaders unwittingly made a decision that ultimately carried out God's will. See, they didn't know they were carrying out God's will. It was just God's will all along. And how cruel and terrible it might be. I said, God, there must be an easier way. He prayed that his will not be done. But not, it's the words, that this would pass from us. This cup pass from us. But I think he no more got it out of his mouth, and he said, not my will, but thine be done. Yes. That's sometimes a hard person to pray. Not my will, but thine be done. But I can help you on this part of it. Help you out some on this. Yes, it's like I said, I think even today it's still hard for us, some of us to understand. We'll know more when we reach out and we'll understand it. What's that in the Bible? We'll understand it all by and by. And sometimes we say, well, we understand this now, it don't make a difference when we get there. Any comments? You got a few minutes?
When I read this, I had to watch out for my anger at a preacher, and my ears would turn red, my face would turn red. It wasn't Jew, it wasn't the Romans that crucified Christ, it was the religions.
Sure.
Legalists, Pharisees. And they were people of organized religion sect.
Yeah.
And I thought it was a severe warning for us today.
I'm sure.
Baptist or Catholic or whatever you are, if your position as an organization overcomes the truth,
Yes.
look for it is,
Yes,
we're in danger of fire.
yes, yes. And sometimes we get hung up, like your brother Steve preached, on essential and non-essentials. We get hung up on the non-essentials.
Major in the mind.
The major is the minor, we sure we do when we get to them things. And we have to be cautious. We're careful, we have to be careful. We don't major on the minors.
Isn't it interesting, you talked about that, even in the churches though, you hear Pilate's question,
Yeah.
what is truth?
What is true? Right.
And
Hollywood answer that.
apparently about half the church can't answer that.
Yeah. Right. Well, kind of like that, sometimes we can't handle the truth.
Or we don't want to handle
Don't want to handle it. You know, we're saying the truth hurts. But like I said, you have to have a good memory to tell the truth. I thought on that a long time, and I took a time to enter in or dawned on me what was meant with that.
Well, you tell a lie, you have to follow it up with another lie.
Right.
I mean, you're always saying, yes,
Right.
and you don't do it. Just keep covering them up.
Yeah, yeah. It's like, did you get into the cookies? No, it wasn't me. The cookie all Right. Brother Greg, would you dismiss it?
Heavenly Father, thank you for this wonderful lesson. Lord, may it reach into our heart, depths of our hearts, that we guard ourselves from becoming religious. Traditions or man or tradition or religion or anything supersedes the truth of Christ. And the truth of Christ be burned into us in a way that always leads us to follow you. Follow us. But you are the way and truth and life.
Amen.